I eat ground beef every single week. It's the most versatile ingredient that's also absolutely perfect for weight loss and wellness goals. It's nutrient dense, it's high in protein, and it keeps you full for hours. But if you're just like throwing your ground beef in an air fryer, then you're missing out on a whole world of delicious opportunity. So today I'm sharing 10 easy and absolutely delicious ground beef recipe ideas that you need to start adding into your weekly routine. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by Kettle and Fire. More on them in a bit. Okay, so quick side note, I will have all the recipes linked down in the description below, so if you want each of these, you can find them there. Okay, the first is a lettuce bun burger. So make sure you're using about a third to a half of a pound of ground beef per person, so you know that you're actually getting enough protein. Most people make the mistake of only using a quarter pound, which only equates to about like 22 to 25 grams of protein. And the other big tip for this is to use iceberg lettuce for the lettuce bun. You just cut the sides and like unfold them to make the little lettuce bun caps. It's so much more crunchy. It's not going to get like wilty and soggy like other lettuces. It makes all of the difference. Then from there, just add all of your usual toppings. So you can add on cheese and red onion. I like to use an unsweetened ketchup from Primal Kitchens. You could even add on some avocado, tomato, and bacon if you want to. Okay, number 2 is our unstuffed cabbage rolls. This is such an easy weeknight dinner. It's so much easier than just regular stuffed cabbage rolls, but it still has all the delicious flavors of it. You just cook up some ground beef with cheese. We use Gruyere cheese and cabbage, leafy greens, onions, tomato sauce, and then some seasonings for a really fast, easy, yummy, and delicious fridge clean out meal. Okay, number 3 is my spicy bone broth chili. This is another really fast and easy option that's not only loaded with high quality protein, but also collagen. When you combine both collagen and whole food source of protein, it's been found to help raise satiety levels and prevent hunger for longer. I just love a good chili recipe too. It's just done in one pot. The cleanup is really easy and it's packed with flavor and generally a crowd pleaser. I also like to load up my chili recipes with a lot of toppings. So I'll put like some cheese on top or some red onions and avocado. So good. In fact, I actually use this spicy bone broth chili recipe with today's sponsor, Kettle and Fire. Kettle and Fire is an amazing bone broth company, and they slowly simmer bones from grass-fed cows to make sure that they're pulling out as much collagen as possible. Now, I know how to make bone broth. I've made it in the past, but honestly, it just takes too much time. And as a new mom, I do not have that time. But I still want to make sure that I'm giving myself as well as my entire family high quality sources of whole food collagen. It's just so important for multiple aspects of health and development. So I love that Kettle and Fire is a really easy and convenient way to add high quality source of whole food collagen into pretty much all of our meals, like this spicy bone broth chili recipe. But I'll also use Kettle and Fire in other recipes like my broccoli detox soup, or I'll put it into sauces in place of water. I love that I can just go into my pantry, grab a container of Kettle and Fire bone broth, and easily add bone broth into every meal. And you can find Kettle and Fire at a ton of different places now. You can find it at Whole Foods, you can find it at Costco, and Kettle and Fire comes in a lot of different flavors, but ultimately my all-time favorite is their original beef or chicken bone broth. It's just so versatile and literally can be used in anything. And Kettle and Fire is super generous, and they're offering my community 20% off your bone broth purchase when you use code AUTUMNBAITS at checkout. And I'll have the link down in the description below so you don't miss out on that discount. Especially when it comes to convenience, you'll want to grab it. Okay, the 4th recipe is cauliflower nachos. Now this is one that I used in my recent 6-week summer meal plan, the body recomposition edition. It is so good, like so flavorful. I think people are hesitant about it because the idea of cauliflower nachos doesn't sound the best. Your mind is going to be blown though. And I promise this is gonna be one that your whole family will want as like a weekly rotational item. It's a low glycemic load alternative to regular nachos. It's way more nutrient dense. And while the cauliflower is roasting, you can easily just cook up the ground beef with a little enchilada sauce for a ton of flavor. Top it on at the end with some cheese, some guacamole, some salsa. You're good to go. I actually did a whole video on this one, so you need this recipe, so you also need to check out this video. I'll have it linked right up here. Okay, the 5th is Mediterranean meatballs. I love making meatballs in general, but especially ones that have a unique flavor to it, like the Mediterranean meatballs. These ones have ground beef, obviously, and then also egg and almond flour instead of just regular breadcrumbs to help lower the glycemic load. Feta, garlic powder, basil, oregano, and red pepper flakes. It is so flavorful, so delicious. I love pairing this with some roasted vegetables and tomato sauce. Oh, this is also for my latest body recomp program. So if you want to check that out with a ton of delicious recipes, I'll have it pop up right here. Okay, number 6 is my low carb shepherd's pie, which is another, like, obviously I love all these recipes, but this one is my fall favorite recipe. It is so flavorful. It just like gives all of the fall vibes. I make mine with mashed cauliflower and Parmesan and butter instead of using like mashed russet potatoes. This helps to really lower the glycemic load, but still keep a lot of flavor. And for the base, I use a mixture of ground beef and carrots and onions, beans, various seasonings, some bone broth, kettle fire bone broth, fresh herbs, and tomato paste. I also recently did a video on this, so if you want like that cozy fall vibe meal, I'll have it linked right up here. Okay, number 7 are mini meatloaves. So I love mini meatloaves because it takes like a regular meatloaf, but cuts down the cook time drastically. So it's much more conducive for like a fast weeknight meal. So you can just take like your regular meatloaf recipe, maybe swap out the breadcrumbs for the almond flour to keep the glycemic load low. And then instead of forming like a full loaf pan, you just form these little mini loaves that you put on a baking sheet along with some veggies that you want to roast with it. And you cook it all together and it's done in like 25 minutes. I also made this recipe quite a bit when I was going through my postpartum 20-pound weight loss journey. Okay, number 8 is sweet potato kale soup. So I actually modeled this recipe on like the sweet potato sausage soup that a lot of people like to make, but sausage is not as high in protein, not nearly as high in protein as ground beef. So I used ground beef in this recipe instead, but sausage is also really high in flavors. So I made sure to add those flavors back in, again, using like very common pantry staple ingredients. But this is another really cozy and satisfying soup meal. And I love that you can actually scale this up or down really easily. So if you want to batch it out for a week of meals, you can do that too. Again, that recipe is also linked in a blog post down below. Okay, number 9 is the saucy taco skillet. This is also from my recent body recomp program. And this is my Southern California version of a fridge clean out. It uses ground beef, enchilada sauce, bell pepper, onions, garlic, cauliflower rice, black beans, and avocado. And everything is literally done in less than 30 minutes. It's crazy flavorful, perfect for weeknight dinners, and also tends to help clean out the fridge of any leftovers and pantry that you might have. That recipe is also in the body recomp program that I will have linked down in the description below. Okay, number 10 is a community all-time favorite, and it's my low-carb zucchini lasagna. I cannot count how many times I've had clients tell me, I made this for my husband or I made this for my kids, and they assumed that they would absolutely hate it. They did not want to try it. They thought that they would miss the pasta, and they ate every single last bite of it and then asked for more. This recipe is not only high in protein, but it's low glycemic load. It's nutrient dense, so it's a great option if you're also looking to achieve a weight loss or a wellness goal. And it is such a crowd pleaser. Feed it to your family, have people over for dinner and feed them this. Everybody will love it. In fact, I also did a step-by-step video on this one, so if you want that recipe, you can find it linked right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.